Before you watch this, I just want you to know that there's some graphic things in here may not be suitable to all audiences. So if you're a little sensitive or you get grossed out, you might just want to pass in this video. Just be fair warned. All right, thanks. Welcome to the Face of a Killer. Born in 1964 in Phoenix, Arizona, he was the second youngest of 13 children. His dad was a car dealer, lot attendant, and his mom was a maid. Some of his siblings say the household was peaceful, while others say dad was verbally abusive and liked to drink. 13 kids? I bet he liked to drink. 13 kids, good God. Anyway, his childhood. In 1976, his mom died when he was 12 years old. He went to high school in Tempe, Arizona. He was fairly athletic and good at sports. He even played football for the high school. Even though he was into sports, he would never graduate high school due to lack of credits. So here's where the trouble really started. Soon after his 18th birthday on November 7th, 1982, him and his brother were arrested for raping a young woman, but no charges were pursued. Sometime in 1986, he met a woman. Her name is Wendy Carr, and they moved in together. In 1987, he was charged with trespassing. In 1988, he was charged with a DUI. But then, well, things took a turn for the worse, and he just couldn't contain his rage any longer. In August of 1989, he abducted a woman, brutally raping and beating her with a shotgun and a barbell. He entered into a plea agreement, but a year after the assault, before he was even sentenced, he robbed a supermarket at gunpoint to get money so he could buy crack cocaine. He was sentenced to 21 years in prison. 21 years. Okay, well, this should have been the end of the story, right? I mean, that's a lot of crime already. I mean, raping women, beating women, armed robbery. I mean, geez. But I digress. After 13 years of being a model prisoner, he was granted clemency and released in 2004. Sometime during that prison sentence, he and Wendy got married. And Wendy had spoken on his behalf at the clemency hearing, saying he had clearly changed his ways. Carr said her husband came out of prison an older and wiser man. I bet. Nothing like learning how to be a serial killer when you're learning it in prison. And this Wendy lady, man, either she was involved or, I don't know. She had to have known what was going on. Anyway, like I said, we'll get back to the story. Now, this is where things go really bad. And because there's some very graphic stuff in here, I'm just going, you know what, I'm gonna dumb it down. I'm going to use the word assault, and I'm gonna group in a bunch of crimes to include molestation, rape, and other violence, as I just don't want to get into the details of each of the horrific crime. And by the way, each of these killings, or when I say a person was found, basically they were shot in the head, they were taken to a secluded area and murdered, and because that was his modus of operandi. So with that out of the way, let's just get into this here. So 1 year after his clemency, because he was such a changed man, on August 6, 2005, he struck, forcing 3 teenage girls behind a church near Baseline Road, which is how he got his name. He assaulted 2 of the girls. A week later, he would assault and rob another girl, and in just over a month since his first attack, he would make his first kill. On September 9th, 19-year-old Georgia Thompson would be assaulted and murdered. 6 days later, he would assault another woman, and 5 days after that, on September 20th, 2005, armed with a gun, he would assault 2 sisters in a park. One of the sisters was clearly pregnant, and he held a gun to her belly while he assaulted her sister. But remember these 2 girls, as they're important to the story later. There would be 8 other assaults and/or robberies before the second murder victim on December 12th, Tina Washington, 39. She was murdered while she was on her way home from preschool, where she worked. December 29, 2005, Phoenix, Arizona, someone started shooting from a car. Another Phoenix serial killer had just become active, this one known as the serial shooter. This sparked a scary, bloody summer known as the Summer of Fear in Phoenix, Arizona. But that's another story entirely, and we're not done with the baseline killer. February 20th, 2006, 2 more women were found murdered in their snack truck. Romelia Vargas, 38, and 34-year-old Mirna Palma-Roman. March 15th, 2 more victims were found a mile apart from each other. They had been co-workers at a restaurant. Chow Cho is the only male victim of the baseline killer, and he was thought to be incidental, and the target was supposed to be Liliana Sanchez Cabrera, 20, who was found a mile away. On March 29th, the body of Kristen Nicole Gibbons was found. May 1st and May 5th were more assaults. June 29th, the last victim, Carmen Miranda, 37, was abducted and killed while she was on her cell phone. This was the only attack captured on video on closed-circuit television. 5 days shy of the first anniversary of the first baseline killer killing on September 4th, 2006, the baseline killer was arrested in connection with the September 20th, 2005 attack on the 2 sisters due to DNA evidence. See, I told you those 2 sisters were important. In less than a year, after 9 dead, 8 of those women and 1 man, and numerous other women assaulted, the baseline killer reign of terror was over. 5 months after his September arrest, in January 2007, he was indicted on 74 charges to include 9 counts of murder. On September 7th, he was convicted on 19 charges related to the attack on the 2 sisters. He was convicted on all 19 and sentenced to 438 years thanks to DNA evidence. 4 years later, while incarcerated, on October 31st, 2011, using DNA, ballistics, and circumstantial evidence, he was found guilty of all of the baseline killer murders and all the other related charges except for 3 counts of robbery and 1 kidnapping. In total, his victim count is as follows: 9 killed, 10 raped, and 5 robbed at gunpoint. In June of 2016, the Arizona Supreme Court upheld his sentence of 9 death sentences, 1 for each of the murders and more than 60 other felony convictions. The killer is currently housed on death row in the Arizona State Prison Complex in Florence, Arizona. Unfortunately, Arizona's last execution was on July of 2014. This is the face of your killer, Mark Godot, also known as the baseline killer. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment and a like. It'll really help get this video recommended to others. Thank you.